So I was practicing my foil, and basically the only thing I was doing is getting back into just the basics, right? Just getting simple movement of the feet and moving backward and forward and lowering. And while doing it, I realized I had no grip with my wooden floor. So the location is perfect. I got a perfect length for a duel, but my feet keep slipping. So I decided, well, I got a clean pair of shoes that I can use. And then I realized that the the bottom of the shoe, the felt, just keep slipping sideways, and I started hurting my foot. So I decided to make a small video just about my footing and what it was like when I used to train for fencing, because my teacher always told us that like 80% of the movement was actually the footwear and not actually the movement. And I wasn't sure I understood at the time what he meant by that. And now it makes completely a lot of sense. Because if you're trying to move fast and you keep slipping, it's not going to work because you're not properly training. So if you get into a competition and all of a sudden, instead of every time you do a strike, you kind of slide, well, now your feet is going to stop square in its place while you're trying to strike your opponent. And this can put you off beat, right? So what I decided to do, I ordered those weird shoes that got like toes. My wife used them for work and she says those grip are like amazing. And since there is no bottom really to it, there's no chance you're gonna like break an ankle. So yeah, I'll need to work on that. But it was really interesting just getting back into the movement. And while I was doing that, as you can see, I got a mirror behind me, and I was looking at my mirror, and all of a sudden I realized, what's the proper posture? And I started watching video like cell sword arts and stuff like that, and I realized they kind of bend forward a bit more. And I found that really interesting, because in a way, when they strike, they got a long reach and they can come back faster, right? You can just pull back your whole body, and all of a sudden you got like 6 to 10 inches further. So I'll need to actually look at those emo video, because the way we were training when we were fencing, it was really a straight movement. I called it the swan. Some people did the swan. Usually I just put my hand behind me. And if I recall, I would never reach too much further. And the reason why I felt uncomfortable at that time to be a bit more forward is because for the back push, it's fine. But for the forward, I always felt that my push forward had more weight to it. So when it was time to backtrack quickly, I lost like a fraction of a second compared to moving forward because my weight is more forward. So some people will bend their body, and I saw a lot of the guys when we were training at the time that I was doing that. So every time they backed down, they would pull their body backward and move back. And when it was time to push forward, they would lower their body and move up. And I remember my coach always aimed his eyes at the middle of the chest of the person. Well, not the chest, but like in line with the belly. And basically what it offers him is a look on the hand and the feet at the same time, right? So every time you would see the guy bending forward, you would know the guy is coming for it. So now I'm wondering, is it a bad move or a good move? Because you kind of tell your opponent what you're doing, but at the same time you can switch your technique. And I recall, because people were doing that, I would trick my coach, right? So since everybody was doing that, and I was the type of person really still, but straight, what I would do a backward move as I straight forward, and he would literally move towards my sword, and you will find it laughable. You would laugh at that, but yeah, the whole thing was actually really fun at the time. He would still get me. I wasn't gonna outsmart my coach at that time, but just little weird mind games that we were playing together. I kind of miss that. I wonder where he is right now. I hope he's still alive after all those years. But yeah, having a coach is really something that I realize that I'm missing. Because right now I got so many questions just by starting back just the basic training. So things that I never asked myself when I was a kid. Now I'm wondering, should I move forward a bit and being more extending my range, or should I stay still and it's fine because I can actually move and come back faster, and you can just move from side to side, right? I got so many questions, and it's funny because now if I want to introduce myself to HEMA, yes, I need to relearn my fencing abilities, but at the same time I'm like, I'm not gonna be always, if I go to a competition, I cannot be just targeting the person straight on, just like fencing. Fencing, we got that corridor that we fight in. But if I go HEMA, I need to learn how to move from side to side faster. And now I'm like, is there a proper way to move side to side? Because my instinct as a fencer is to do the side move. But I do not cross my legs. And I saw some guys crossing the legs, so I'm like, oh boy, am I doing a mistake? Should I keep jumping? Is it fine? Is it because I'm using a foil and maybe it's still compatible with the saber? Like I'm saying, I didn't get that much training at a time, and I still didn't get my manuscript from Ludwig, The Flower of Battle. So I'm still asking myself a lot of questions. And people can laugh at that, but now I have to learn the proper basics, because my memory of those training seems to show that I'm actually lacking a lot of knowledge. There's a lot of questions I have inside of my mind that I'm like, okay. So I started watching a lot of video of people fencing, and I don't like their training. There is a lot of just them doing side jumps back and forth without the sword. And I don't like that, because the idea of training is to repeat a movement that's useful. So you'll never be in a fight with somebody. Be like, come at me, bro. Come on. It doesn't really work, right? So usually you should train your movement from side to side. And a lot of people in those videos that I saw, and I'm not saying I'm better than a fencing coach. It's just my confusion from thinking fencing and moving to HEMA. Because I saw some videos, and I'll back up a bit, where they do like those big moves, right? Did you see for a second, I don't have any contact to the ground? I'm like, this is a mistake, because teaching your student to do that, when you're in the air for that second, the other person can move, can displace himself, you're completely open for a second. So yeah, you can try to defend yourself, but you're landing in an unstable position. So yeah, it's crazy. Just the idea of movement, getting back into that idea of fencing, and thinking in the back of my head that I want to transition to HEMA, I'm like, I may not be able to just train fencing and then switch to HEMA. Maybe I should try the movement of HEMA first with my fencing theory that I still got inside my head, and try to merge them together until I figure exactly how HEMA move. So yeah, that's actually really fun. It's been a while I didn't have that type of notions running inside my head and having those doubt on how to proceed forward. So yeah, if you guys see videos or manuscript or anything that's related to movement, I would really like to see that, because I'm pretty sure there's a difference between, let's say, a two hand. So I put myself in a two hand, and I saw a lot of guys like having a really low stance in two hand, and I found that really interesting. because I found that having a two hand, but at the same time you're not hitting the floor. That's, yeah, that's actually really cool. The thing is, you're way down, and when it's time to move back, I feel you got more to attack, but less to back down. So it's like, if a guy is bent over, does it mean he's a more aggressive style fighter versus a guy that is a bit more straight, which is a bit more balanced compared to the lowered position? It's, yeah, I'm just geeking out. Okay, don't judge me. I'm really geeking out. If you have any information, shoot it my way. Honestly, I'm really into this. So I'm still waiting for my equipment for the 2N and the jacket and the helmet. So I have to practice on my own because I don't want to teach my girl to carry the sword since it's still not a plastic foil. I want to make sure that she understands that when we touch the blades, it's when we have the equipment. We don't play with the blades when we don't have the equipment. It's a weapon. It's not a toy. So I really want to make sure she understands that. She seems to be following the rule up to now, but I really want to make sure that we never play with the swords or the foil without having the proper equipment. So anyways, so because of that, the training's a bit slower. I have to find time where I can practice alone without her seeing me playing with the foil without the equipment. So yeah, anyways, like I said, if you have any videos that specifically talks about movement or manuscript that talks about it, I guess I would aim for something in the saber, épée or sword style of movement. I believe that would be a good start. So anyways, on this I'll let you guys go, and yeah, I'll keep practicing without being sure what I'm doing. So anyways, I'll see you guys around. See ya.